Still frozen. Okay. Welcome to today's session of tutorials, speedrun tutorials, where we have Solstice, the NES classic. Great game, by the way. It has a really cool block mechanics, as in the cube type of block. But the game feels really fun to play. So today we're going through the speedrun and how to do all the tricks, plus the newer tricks that are too advanced for even a speedrun. And in addition, a couple of the safe backup strats to get you started. The path is just whatever's shortest through the game. Like this is any percent. Just want to go through the game fast. So you can look at a map to convince yourself why we go this way. But to get through the game we need, I'm going to say 6 pieces of the staff. And let's get started. So here's this room. The goal of going fast is to just hold movement in the direction towards the destination. And in this room, there's a specific timing we can do where we jump on top of this yellow block here and just run to the exit. So the room loads up and you just run across, right, real quick. And so that I don't get any game overs, I have a infinite life cheat on, so don't worry about that. The previous few rooms, like, there's nothing interesting, just go fast. This room has something cute though. So you can run in and you get this little boosted jump that lands right on top of the key. And to do that, you want to jump from around here where this mark is. You land on the yellow brick, which is now out of place, but anyway. You let it drop a few frames, a few pixels, and then you use your jump to land on top of the blue brick. And because you fell a bit on the yellow, you get a boosted jump onto the blue. And then that lets you jump off the blue immediately. Like, that's what happens if you just hold jump. So there needs to be a small gap. Again, that was holding jump, where there's a bit of fall time getting to the blue brick. Anyway. This one's pretty hard to do. So again, you jump from around this line, like the dotted line, not the solid line. Hit the corner of the yellow. Wait for it to fall for a frame or two. Get a boosted jump onto the blue, and it'll put you around top of the key. Okay, so here's our first block that we're going to work with. So I'll use this to explain all the block mechanics. Maybe this one even. The ones in the previous room weren't movable, these ones are. So you can pick up blocks in this game, and it's very core to the game. And you can also use this to abuse the physics of the game. So it's not intended that you're able to pick up the block after jumping off of it. It's supposed to be you put the block... right, so that's how you're supposed to get out of this room. But instead we can pick up the block, use it to jump, and pick it up at the same time, and then use it to jump off of again. And that's not intended. So to do this, you press the jump button 1 frame after pressing the pick up button. So you press B, and then 1 frame later press A. And that's easier to do than it sounds. Like, it's a 1 frame trick, but to do it you just press both buttons at the same time, except you press B first. So it works pretty much every time. But then a harder version of that is catching falling blocks. And so you can get an extra jump on top of that. To catch a falling block, you need your character to be stopped on top of the block. So your character and the block are falling at different rates, and you need them to be touching to be able to pick it up and jump. So the way I do this is I just feel out the timing. Basically, you just do it enough that you get a feel for when the timing is. So that's something you just have to practice a lot. But I still miss it regularly. And then you can do a third one, but that's really, really hard. Like sometimes there's no window at all to get a third. So I'll be using that a bunch throughout the run. The double block grab and the single. Okay, and then the other block trick we have is the 1 frame jump. So you press jump for 1 frame and it puts you right on top of the block. And then if you hold jump, then the first frame puts you on top of the block, and the second is a jump from on top of the block. And this is why the boosted jump worked in the key room. It's because I was low enough under the block that my jump would put me on top of the block directly. So I didn't have to wait to fall, I could just be put right on top of it. Okay, that block is lost. And this is more to speed things up. But then there's also the credit jumps in particular use boosted jumps. But the 1 frame jump itself is just to speed up a few points. Like it saves the fall time, pretty much. So that's a 1/4 second. Okay, so moving on. So get to work on your blocks there. So here we do a boosted jump to get up. There's probably timing for this. No, I just use visual. So whenever it looks right. Jump the invisible block. Okay, now this room is interesting. Here's how we do it. You do a block grab here, and then you do another grab jump off of the boots. Because that lands you on the tile. If you don't get the jump part, then you have to stay and land and then do a jump. Because you don't always get the jump after the grab. You can usually tell if your character jumps or not during the pickup fanfare. So that's how we do it. There's another way. It saves a 1/4 second. It's the task way. I'm not gonna get it, but I mean, I say that. So what I do is you stand right here, right on the very edge. You catch the block out of the air. There's the very edge. That's how precise you have to be. Catch the block out of the air, and then I think you do an air grab, and it puts you right on this ledge. So it saves a 1/4 second. I'm gonna give it another try. You also have to delay a bit to be able to catch it. It's incredibly hard. And that's why we don't do it, because it's too inconsistent. Like, it saves time, but it's too hard to do in real time. I'm getting close, but not quite. Right, so there it is. And then from here, you'd get on the boots and then jump back. Whether from a one-frame jump or... I don't think you land on it. So I think you have to one-frame jump. Okay, so that's that room. I'll show it the proper way again. And then do a boost jump, a grab jump off the boots. Okay, so coming up we have spike jumps. Spike jumps, it means jumping off of spikes. This is one of the run killers for me, because I don't have a good setup for it. So to get this jump in particular, you need to buffer jump when entering the room, press left for 2 frames, and hold down the rest of the time. There's 1 pixel where you can land on spikes and get another jump off of them. So there it is. There's more spike jumps later. That one kills most of my runs. This room you skip the green block. Intended way is you land on the purple block, lower it enough, and ride the green block. But you can jump across. So I do a little zigzag at the start. Down a bit, up a bit, and then jump. Okay, now we're into invisible blocks. So here I do a little zigzag at the start again to land on the very edge here. You want to land on edges as much as you can because it's faster than over moving. And you'll correct yourself into the doorways. So here's this room. Do the same thing here. So I do a up, and then an over, and then another up. And I hold up long enough to get in line with these tiles. Land on this block, and then jump off of this to land in between these 2 blocks at the end. So it's like that, but a little higher up. So that's how that goes. This room, you hold over until you're on the purple block. If you buffer a jump landing entering the room, then you fall down the floor. Have to redo a lot. This room, it's intended that you ride up the green cube, but that's slow. So we run along this line. You have to be very close to the edge. And then you jump from very close to this other edge. You gotta get as close to the corner as you can to make it to this block. There, one frame. And then use this block to skip 2 floors, I think. Go right to the exit and get the first staff piece. So you do a grab jump, catch it in the air, and then another one. Okay. And you want to land underneath this tile. That way it bumps you up on top of the tile, and then as close to the door as you can. So you saw that I went through the door. And that's one of the hard tricks, because you gotta catch the block out of the air. There's one of those minor time saves where you do an AB instead of a BA, and then do the right. So I came from above and then I died, so my respawn point is above. But instead of waiting for this fall onto the block, you can grab it from below with an AB grab instead of a BA. But that just saves another quarter second. And the time for this game is measured in quarter seconds at this point. There. So here, again, Test does this. It's just a 1-frame jump. But you want to be quick about it. Like if you don't get it right away, then you're only saving a quarter frame. Quarter second. This is a labyrinth, so just memorize the path. The thing to speed up a labyrinth is you need to bump into edges as much as you can. So you want to hit on these turns, you want to hit the edge right next to where you're going. And it'll push you in. That way you're frame perfect. Okay, so these staff pieces are in the air, and you want to catch them out of the air. So for this one, I come at it from the other side. So that's more of that boosted jump thing, where you get boosted on top of the item, and then you press B to pick it up. This key you just jump onto. Like you can walk over and 1-frame it, but there's no need. Next room, you hold up immediately for a very short time, and then hold left. This room you run through until you hit the block, then jump. This room you jump right away, and wait for the timing to land on that cube. Here you're trying to land under this tile again. You jump up from below, aim for under this tile, and towards the door. This next room you hold up, so you get past the skeletons. This room there is a way to catch blocks out of the air. It's not usually worth going for, because it doesn't really save time. Because if you get the purple one, then you're already just standing around waiting for it to fall. So you get the orange one. Do another grab jump. Right. Okay, so here's potions. First use of potion to get past these enemies. You want to set potions in advance on rooms with no enemies. So I would use one of the labyrinth rooms to set this potion. And this is invincibility. Let's use touch enemies. And the old way for this room is just jump in, land on a slime, and then jump to the exit. But you can just do a boosted jump off of a slime. That's a little better. There's worms. So what I did is jumped up to here, did a turn, and then jump up. And that got me past the worms. These eye guys, you just gotta follow. There's no getting past them. This here's one of the harder rooms. You have to do an angle jump here, but the window is very small to make it. It's very easy to bonk off the tile over your head. And then this tile is just another grab jump. This room here, I time my jump with jumps. So I use jump as a timer. So it's 2 jumps, and then on the third I jump for the green tile. And jumping is just a good way to time your movements using in-game movement. Like instead of relying on visual cues. This room you just jump through. Okay, this is one of the harder tricks. But you need a boost to jump off of this credit. Let's talk about the backup way first. So you can catch the credit on your head and then move it over. That's the safe way to do this room. But the fast way is to get a boosted jump off the credit. So I'm trying to align with that corner on the credit and get touch it just enough for the boost, and then do a down right zigzag to land on this middle pillar. But this is one of the harder jumps in the game. See if I can get it again. There. Here's another room where I use jumps to time my actions. So it's 2 jumps, and then I get the boost onto the staff piece and pick it up as soon as I get that boost. Except I missed it. You gotta be very precise with your button presses. This room you hold forward, and then once you walk into the spikes you can follow the enemies around. Just go through that room. That room you gotta hold up so you don't walk into the big man. This room I do a zigzag. Let's do that better. There. That's to dodge the colored blocks, because they push against you for a little bit. Okay, don't fall in the pit. Okay. This room coming up is very interesting, because you do a little dance. So you gotta do a very precise jump around the orc. You go down about 2 frames, and then right until you're past him, and then up again. It's pretty easy to die, though. Very easy to die. But once you get good at it, it's not bad. This room is another potion room. So I think I set this potion in the teleporter room normally. Just to kill that thing. Because otherwise you'd have to wait for it to go down and then up. That's slow. This room you want to grab the pink thing out of the air. But failing that, you just grab it off the ground. And you want to try to do a double jump. But failing that, you can do it the intended way, kind of. And drop it on the column here. So here's more spike jumps. I'll show how I do this room first. So I hold down a bit and then turn at some point. Gotta turn this room into muscle memory. Because I don't have a good way to explain it. But there is a useful part of this room right here, where you line up with this checkered line on the floor, and then just hold forward and jump, and you get a spike jump every time. Every time. Anyway, that's how I learned. Is I used the spot I was pointing out as a way to learn spike jumps. Okay, I don't know where it is, but somewhere in here. I'm not going to spend forever on it. And then the other thing you need to know, other than the like fast run through the room way, is how to do the 1 pixel spike jump. And that's trial and error, I guess. More trial and error. Because it's pretty common to fail a spike jump. I thought I was at the other entrance. So when you fail, you gotta back up to the 1 pixel jump. So spike jumps, if you're too late in your turn, then you can fail as many times as you need, because you're just gonna land next to the spikes. But if you're too early, you die. So on these 1 pixel jumps, I'm pressing it too late each time, just because I don't want to die. I have my inputs on the screen. I don't know how helpful that is, but I'm just pressing over like as I'm falling. There's a timing in there that you hit. Anyway, that's the 1 pixel jump. This room, you want to land on this line, because then the spike balls don't touch you. There's 3-ish ways to do this room. Intended way is to drop the block on the orc's head and ride him around. Here's the current way. You land on the very edge of that tile. Like the very, very edge. There it is. You do a block jump, and then you grab it out of the air, do another one, but don't drop it. Because you need to make it to the far side with your block. I don't know, I'm not too good at it. This is kind of new. Like it started about when I was finished learning the game. So if I had grabbed the block, I'd have been good. And then you use it to get back as well. So that's the current best way. The old way to do that was to do a triple jump. So you grab it out of the air here and then do another jump off of it. And then my cheap way of doing the triple jump was to have the block land on the orc after the second. But anyway. And then the learner way is to use yellow potion. Okay, so that's yellow potion. That's the easy way. Use that until you get comfortable with the other ways. One more try. One more try. Okay. Not getting it today. The return, still do the walk the line. This is the return spike jump. A little too early. Here you walk onto this place and then jump forward. So hold walk until you land on this, then jump over the orc. This room you have to buffer forward to get under the guy in time. Here you pause. It's about a jump, but not quite. Here you need to delay slightly to get by. That's another buffer movement this room is. You need to run right away to get through in time. The next room is a bit of a tricky jump. So I hold jump and right right at the start. I turn upwards when I'm in line with the right edge of the pink tile, and that gets you across. Can do it again. So there's that. Right here is a credit jump again. It's the same as before, just different positions. Next room is jumping off a block that's falling. So you gotta time that. I just delay a bit and then jump. That's kind of a visual cue, kinda. So the safe way to do this room is just grab and jump. Whoops. The fast way is to jump into the spikes. That was a spike jump. Jump into the spikes to line up, and then still have jump held, and get a boosted jump off the falling block. Turn as soon as you get the boosted jump, and you're across. And it's a little faster. A little faster than waiting for the block to fall. This room, you need to catch the block out of the air, put it on the other side of the conveyor, drop it, run back, and land on the staff piece. I should have did a grab jump, so that's all I was missing there. I do another jump here for timing, so I land on the staff as soon as possible. The return is the same. Jump into the spikes, then get a boosted jump. It's very easy to die doing this. This part, the safe way is to just jump across and then run. There's a slightly faster way, and you need to run right along the edge. There. So you have to look like you're walking off the edge, but still up there. It's very tight movement, but it's a little faster. Hold jump for that room. Around, hold down, and keep holding down. Okay, this room. I don't really have the timing of this room. You want to jump early, but it's very easy to not make it to the ledge. Basically, don't waste too much time waiting for the ball. So try to cut your corners here, but be aware that you can die when doing that. This next room you need to delay a bit, so you can't hold forward. This room you gotta hold jump for that block. Jump backwards off that edge to get up faster. So there's two ways to do this room. That's my way. I guess there's technically a faster way, where you don't wait for the block to fall. Because I let the block fall on the spikes. That's just to be safe, but you don't have to. But that's just being safe. Then the other way is to wait for it to fall over here, grab it, and then just do a double jump over. This room, you gotta follow the pigs. So you do that room. However, there's a insanely precise way to get through. First try. So yeah, just do that, and you're good. Oops. Okay, so let's see. To do that, I don't know. I guess I'll talk through it. So you enter the room, you press. I'll do it in the empty room, I guess. I don't know. You press up a bit. Get off me, block. Enter the room. Press up very slightly. Hold down, and jump over the spikes. You press up again once you're past the pig, but only to get the right past the spikes, because you still need to be touching the spikes, but past them. Like, you have to be on that pixel, and then hold down. If you're touching the spikes, you can get past the orc, and then run for the door. And if you waste any frames, then you're caught at the door by the other pig. And I reset the room on this jump because the timing feels different. So there I was a pixel too high. Yeah. That saves half a second, so it's one of the better saves, but it's really hard to do. Like all these tricks that we don't do. Little zigzag here while jumping. Here's the ballroom. So I put on the invincibility potion. Very important not to fall here. Invincibility. I gotta remember my setup for this. It's, you aim to the left of the pig. But I had a fast way to do it. I think it's when they're going up. Let's try that. Okay, whatever. You aim a little to the left. This room, you wait for the blue tile to move back the second time, or the first time. When it comes back, run up and jump. Hug the tiles on the wall. Not that closely. Okay, and land on the yellow and you're through. Here it's almost 2 jumps, but not quite. So pause a bit. Pause a bit less. So you get a boost to jump up. Jump over the worms. This key is very finicky. But 3 jumps is the most consistent way to get off. This room's empty, so put on the kill potion. This jump, just visual cue. Okay, now this room, there's 2 ways to do this. I'll do the old way first. Push the block. Jump on... oops, try again. Try again. Push the block, land on the bubble, jump off of it, grab the pink thing, and do a double jump over. That's the old way. Here's the new way. You don't push the bubble at all, and just grab the pink block out of the air. And this way is a little faster. And I'm also better at it, apparently. I think I'm aiming for the dot on the bubble. Okay, this room also has 2 ways to do it, like the fast way and the old way. The old way is drop the cube and do a double jump. I dropped it in a very poor spot. I don't know what I was trying to show. Okay, so that's the old way. The new way doesn't drop the block, but you need to land on this line. You need to be very far over. And then you don't drop the block, you just do a jump. didn't look over far enough. There. So again, I have infinite lives on, just because I'm going to mess up these tricks a number of times. This room, I have my potion on for this room. Otherwise you'd have to like jump over the credit. This room is hard to do fast, because getting the jump at the start is hard. You can't really hold over, you can't buffer movement on this jump. So you gotta like press it and then jump. It's weird. This room just hold jump and I don't know. Don't jump in this room. You want to run over and give the block a little boost. That speeds it up a little bit. And then jump when you're at the top. So you want to, when you land on that glass tile, you want to be sure that you're in the air before turning. Because I had problems with it, with going through the block. Okay, then this part, you get up here, and you want to jump to the left. They'll put you under the tile, and it'll put you right up there. Like going forward, there's a good chance you miss the tile. And I actually want to show that again, so. So, push the block, ride it to the top. Jump to advance the screen a little faster. You wanna hold jump for all of this so that you get a jump off the glass tiles. Go up here, turn left. And then the timing is, I do an extra jump off the bubble just to get the timing. Because you need to time this push, right? Okay, so this is probably the hardest trick. You need to catch that block that was falling. So I line up with about here, do a jump, catch the block, then turn right and do a block jump. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And it'll put you through the floor, up a floor. And here's a reset if you miss. And you can use a yellow potion to make this easier. Okay. You don't want to jump next to this staff piece, because it puts you up the floor. If you're touching it, you get the boosted jump from the one frame jump. And that'll put you up a floor, so you gotta jump to it. Then just make your way down. You want to be as close to this door as you can be. Just up. And there you have it. The Solstice speedrun. I think I got all the task tricks I wanted to show. The ones that I can do. Except for the boots room. No, I got that too, didn't I? But, so this game, the speedrun is down to seconds. There's maybe 1 or 2 seconds between the top times. So we're getting into needing these TAS only, air quotes, tricks to save like quarter seconds. But the rest of the game is already very difficult. Like frame perfect tricks everywhere. Who knows how many times I died just showing this off. yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and you can give this a try. Solstice, a very fun game. Check it out for yourself. Trick's easy to do, too. Especially the block grabs.